Welcome to the William Hauenstein Cider Press at Swiss Heritage Village in Berne, Indiana. This press was actually built in 1860 to 1864 during the Civil War years by a man named William Hauenstein, a Swiss immigrant who came to this country looking for his fortune. This press was originally built over in Huntington County. It was moved here in 1991. It was restored, and we've been squeezing cider from this press for about the last 7 years.
When the Hauenstein family first contacted us, when we went down there and seen this, even though the building had collapsed down on it, we couldn't believe what we found. So we set everything up, we brought it here, we restored it, and once the newspapers got a hold of it, Smithsonian found out about it, and they really did want it because it's the world's largest cider press. It's the only one of its kind. And we're very thankful to have it here in Berne. This press was done totally by memory by William. They said that there was presses like this in Switzerland, only they were very small and they were wine presses. As you look at the vat and the chopper wheel and everything, it was amazing how he could put this thing together and that it would work. This started in 1864, that fall, that was the first time, and it run continuous to 1972. And that's well over 100 years, and it's still as good as new. During the Civil War, cider was such a big commodity because they didn't only use it for preservatives, but they also made alcohol with it that they used for disinfecting, and they used it for surgery and stuff.
And they'd cut it at an angle. They'd come around like this.
This piece of wood that you see here is white oak, and it's about 30 foot long and about 30 inches square. And when we moved it here, we found out that it had well over 400 rings on the end of it. That means that in 1860, when they cut that, it had to be a small tree then when Columbus discovered America. The way this works, this beam, you know, the screw takes it up and down, and we can pivot it with the center pivot here. But once we get it pressed out as much as we can, like it is there, when that's blocked solid at the other end, there where the mash is, it raises off of this center pivot, and we take it clear out. It's made to come out. Then we screw the screw down, and there's where you get your 20-ton of pressure. And it actually makes the whole building shake when that comes down, and that's where you get your final press. This screw is made out of red oak, and as you see up here, we use pure lard for the grease. And then on top there, you see the nut. He thought that, man, that screw and that nut is going to wear out the quickest. So he made a spare screw and a spare nut. And up here's the screw. Right down here's the nut. And this run well over 100 years, and it's still as good as new, and he never used them. When the Hauensteins did this press, the first year they tried to do it by hand by putting wooden arms through here and turning it by hand, and they found out that they couldn't do it well enough. They lost too much of the product. So they went ahead and used horses on the outside and had a treadle there, and they did that for a number of years, and from the treadle they went to a steam engine and then your water-cooled engines. The engine that we're using now to do our pressing is a 5.5 horse water-cooled engine that we have setting outside of the building. When you have good apples like we have out here today, we'll get about 3 gallons per bushel, and we'll do about 40-45 bushel, which would give us well over 100 gallons of cider. But the way this works, we bring the apples in and we put them in this vat here, and it goes ahead and it chops them up. There's a wheel in there about this big around, about this long, that has cut nails in it. It chops them into a mash. Then they're shoveled into the vat, and the vat is lined with straw and then in layers with straw. As we start to press it, they're putting in the mash with the straw into the vat here. The cider comes out so fast that it would fill this tank up before we would ever press. So we have to be taken out of the tank, taking it over here to where they'll put it in half-gallon jugs. And we use this little screen here to catch any chaff or anything that might come through there. Once that's all done, then we go ahead and take the pieces of wood over here, the 2x8s, and we lay them across the top and form a lid. And then from the lid we use the 6x6s, and they come against the big arm and it presses it down and presses out the cider. Now, the way this works, we have two clutches here that run all the pulleys and the belts, and we can make it go up or down from here. Once we get it all pressed down and we get the cider all out of here, then we still have the mash to get rid of. And we take the front of the vat off. You can see how it's made. We take it, pull it up with this block and tackle, get it out of road, and then we back the wagons in here and we put the mash on top of the wagons. And the people used to take that home and they feed it to their cattle for minerals, or they put it around the berry bushes. And that was in 1864. That means they were recycling then already.